Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So in the previous video, you must have seen like how to use the conditional operator, that is the if and else operator in the JavaScript. Okay, so in this video, I'll be showing you how to use the for loop, that's the loops inside the JavaScript. Okay, so I'll take a small example and I'll show you how to use the loops inside JavaScript. So the main motive behind this particular coding which I'm showing you right now will be like we have to get an output something like this. There would be a web page, okay, which would actually calculate the factorial of any number. Okay, so there would be a heading, any heading you want to give, you can give. There would be a button which will be like on click. Okay, so when you click on the button here, there will be a box wherein you have to enter the number for which you have to find out the factorial. Okay, suppose the number is 2 and you have to click this button, the factorial of the number 2 will be displayed right below it. Okay, now to find out the factorial of the number, you have to run the for loop, right? For any number you have to run a for loop for finding out the factorial. So now how to use that particular for loop in your JavaScript, that I'll be showing you. Okay, so first of all, I'll be starting with the HTML code for the desired output which we want. So let's start with the doc type HTML and then the HTML tag, then the head tag, and inside the head tag I'll just write a title which is factorial calculator. Okay, and let's close the title and then we have to close the header. Now this is done, we have to move on to the body part wherein we will be creating the features what we want in the output, right? So first of all, I'll start with the header. So let's copy this one, paste it over here, and then close the header. And then a p tag which will actually tell like we have to enter a number and then it will give you the factorial. So we can write enter number to calculate the factorial. Okay, that's a p tag. Now we have to go on and work on the button, right? So for that we have to write the input and the type over here will be a number, right? Because we have to give the input as a number, and then the ID for this will also be a number, and after this there will be placeholder, right? So for the placeholder, what we have to write, you want the user to enter a number, right? So you can just write enter a number in the placeholder. Okay, once this is done, now we have to go on. So we have given the input type, now we have to make the button. Okay, so in order to create the button, so I have to keep the button on click, right? So whenever the user clicks on button, then only the factorial of the number will be displayed. So I'll keep it on click, and then here you have to write on the function name which you will be using in your JavaScript. So let's say the function name is calculate factorial. Okay, this is my function, so I can just write calculate factorial over here and then close off the button. Okay, now once the button is closed, I also just underneath the button I want the output to be displayed, like the message to be displayed, like this is the factorial value, or the factorial value for the number which you have entered is this, or this is the factorial output, something like that. I want a message, right? So for that, what I can do, I can create a header 2, that is h2, and I can write factorial was value, the colon, and then close the header 2, and then you have to place the result. For result, what you have to do, a p tag with id, and the id over here would be factorial result. So that's the id element which we have used. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to close off the p tag. Okay, now this is done, the HTML coding is done. Now we have to move on to the JavaScript. Okay, we have to do the scripting so that we can go ahead and actually make the code executable and we get the output in a web page. Okay, so inside the script, first of all, you have to create the function. Okay, so what would be the function name? The function name is calculate factorial, right? This is the function name, so we can directly write this over here. And then after that, what we have to do, just open up this and then okay, so we have to write over here just underneath it. So we have to work on the number first of all, the number element which we have taken. So we'll take const number and then inside that we have to get element get element by id, and the first element would be the right here. If you see the HTML code, the first element would be the number input, right? So for that, what we have to do, we have to just write parse input. Okay, and then get element by id. Okay, and inside this we can mention number input. Okay, now after this we have to, the number input will be in the form of a value. So here it is, and then close it. Now next comes the finding out the factorial with the help of a for loop. So for that, let's take a constant value. That means let's take a value as let factorial equal to 1. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and run the for loop for that. Okay, so here let I is equal to 1, I is less than equal to number, and then I plus plus. That's the for loop. So what will happen here, you're writing let means you're actually telling that we are trying to find out the factorial, running a for loop which starts from 1 and it's running up to the number. That means whatever number the user will be giving, it depends on the user input. Till that, this particular for loop will run. Okay, unless and until the factorial is found out. Okay, so here what will happen, we can just write factorial. How to find out the factorial? So factorial is equal to factorial into I, or we can directly write as factorial into is equal to I. This we can write. Okay, next what we have to do, after coming out from this loop, we have to again go ahead and call this particular HTML element in our JavaScript, right? The factorial result. So once the factorial is calculated from the for loop, this is how you write a for loop in a JavaScript. After that, you have to go ahead and call that factorial result. So for that, what you can do, so you can write document dot get element by id, and then inside that you can write factorial result. Okay, and the factorial result will be in a form of a text content, right? So I can write text content. Okay, so this place would be so document get element by id, then inside that factorial result. Okay, and then dot text content, and then inside the text element you can mention like the factorial of the number would be this. Okay, so for that, what we have to do, So for that you have to use the tilde. Okay, here is the tilde which comes up. So it's not a inverted comma, it's a tilde function where you will be able to find in your keyboard. It comes just beside the exclamation mark. Okay, so you can just use this, and inside this, suppose we write the factorial of, suppose, dollar, and then the number, okay, is dollar, and then inside that you can write factorial. Okay, so whatever value will be there, suppose the number is 2. Okay, so number has a value 2, then the factorial, whatever the factorial will have, this particular part, that will get printed over here in the output. Okay, now once this is done, what we have to do, we have to just close off our script which is already there, close off the body, and then close off the HTML tag also. Okay, done. Now what we have to do, we have to save this off, and first of all check off like everything is correct, the spellings, the semicolons, everything is correct or not, and then again save it. Okay, and then let's go ahead and check out the output. Okay, so now if you see the output, something like this, it will appear on your screen if you try to code yourself. Okay, so now this is the header which we used. Okay, that's the h1, and then this is the p tag which we have used. Okay, this is the p tag. This factorial value, this is the h2 which we have used in our HTML code. Okay, this particular part, this one where it says enter a number, this is the placeholder and the box, okay, wherein you will enter your value, and this is the button created in order to find out the factorial of a number. Okay, now here what we have to do, suppose I write the number 10 and then just calculate the factorial. So if you see, it says the factorial of 10 is 3628800. Okay, that's how it will calculate. Suppose if I write the factorial of number 4 and then calculate the factorial, so factorial of 4 is 24. So this is your personal factorial calculator. You can write any number in it, and you'll be able to find out the factorial of it. Suppose I write 100, so that's the 100 factorial. Okay, suppose I write, let's say, 2, then that's the factorial of 2. Okay, so my main motive behind this particular coding was to make you understand how can you use the for loop inside the JavaScript and get your output in your web page. Okay, so I just took a simple example, like created a factorial calculator which can find factorial of any number. Okay, and for that I just gave a formula, and the formula we had is it's like factorial multiplied equal to I. That's the formula for finding out the factorial, right? So here it's the for loop and how it will run inside the JavaScript. Okay, and the output will be something like this, which you see on the screen. Like if you type 3, then calculate the factorial, then the 3 is 6. Okay, this is how it will be calculated. Now I hope this was clear to everyone, and I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel for latest videos on coding, and please let me know if you have any kind of queries regarding to any coding. You can comment down in the comment section and we can help you out with that. So that's it for this particular video. Please do like this video, share it as much as you can, and we'll be back with another interesting video on coding to help you out in your coding career. Thank you so much guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.